The exhausting performance of pretending you already have your life together. The painful truth. You are not tired because life is hard. You are tired because you are performing stability you do not actually feel. Every day, you carefully manage how others perceive you while privately battling confusion, fear, emotional overwhelm, and uncertainty. The pressure to appear put together has become heavier than the problems you were trying to hide in the first place. The pattern interrupt. What if your obsession with appearing healed, successful, confident, and emotionally mature is actually the very thing preventing you from building real self-trust? You keep trying to present a completed version of yourself to the world while rejecting the unfinished human underneath. But self-trust cannot grow inside a performance. The psychological deep dive. Most people believe confidence comes after they finally fix themselves. After the breakthrough, after the healing, after the success, after the glow-up. But real self-trust begins much earlier than that. It starts the moment you stop abandoning yourself for not being fully evolved yet. Modern culture has created an exhausting relationship with identity. Everyone feels pressure to appear certain. Certain about their future, certain about their purpose, certain about relationships, certain about career direction, certain about healing, certain about who they are becoming. The internet rewards polished certainty. People display curated confidence, perfect routines, perfect opinions, perfect lifestyles, perfect emotional breakthroughs. Everyone appears deeply self-aware and internally stable. Meanwhile, many people secretly feel unfinished, confused, emotionally inconsistent, still healing, still learning, still carrying unresolved fears and contradictions. But instead of accepting this reality, people often try to hide it. They perform completeness, because unfinishedness has become associated with failure. Many people now believe, if I were truly mature, I would already have everything figured out. If I were truly healed, I wouldn't still struggle. If I were truly confident, I wouldn't feel uncertain. If I were truly growing, I would already be further ahead. This creates a dangerous internal split. The external self becomes a polished presentation. The internal self remains hidden. And over time, this performance becomes emotionally exhausting. Because maintaining an image requires constant emotional editing, constant self-monitoring, constant comparison, constant pressure to look emotionally stable. But self-trust cannot develop while you're rejecting large parts of your actual reality. True self-trust is not built by becoming perfect. It is built by becoming honest. Many people think confidence means never doubting yourself. But real confidence is the ability to remain connected to yourself even during uncertainty. The emotionally strongest people are not always the most polished. Often, they are simply the most internally honest. They know where they are struggling. They know where they are inconsistent. They know where they are healing. And instead of hiding those unfinished places, they learn how to relate to themselves with honesty instead of shame. This changes everything psychologically, because shame destroys self-trust. The moment you believe your unfinished parts make you unacceptable, you begin emotionally abandoning yourself. You stop listening to your emotions honestly. You suppress confusion, hide insecurity, mask pain, pretend certainty, and eventually you no longer know what is real inside you anymore. This is why many high-functioning people secretly feel disconnected from themselves. They became so skilled at performing competence that they lost touch with their authentic emotional reality. They know how to manage perception, but not how to sit honestly with themselves. This creates fragility, because confidence, built on performance, collapses whenever imperfection appears. One mistake, one rejection, one setback, one emotional breakdown, and the entire identity begins shaking. Why? Because the self-image depended on appearing finished. But human beings are not static projects. People evolve continuously. There is no final perfected version of yourself waiting somewhere in the future. There is only a constantly changing human being learning in real time. This is why embracing your unfinishedness becomes psychologically freeing. Not because struggle feels good, but because honesty creates internal stability. When you stop demanding perfection from yourself, you stop treating every flaw as evidence of failure. Instead, you begin relating to yourself with realism. You start saying, I am still learning. I am still healing. I do not fully know yet. I am growing through this. I can be unfinished and still worthy. These statements calm the nervous system because the mind no longer has to waste energy maintaining impossible perfection. Many people fear this kind of honesty will destroy their ambition, but the opposite is true. Self-rejection drains energy. Self-acceptance creates sustainable growth. People grow best when they feel emotionally safe enough to be imperfect. This is also why radical internal honesty strengthens decision-making. When you can admit your fears honestly, you make clearer choices. When you can acknowledge your limitations honestly, you stop overpromising. When you can recognize emotional exhaustion honestly, you stop forcing unsustainable productivity. When you stop pretending to know everything, you become more adaptable, grounded, and resilient. Self-trust grows every time you respond truthfully to your own reality instead of performing who you think you should be. This process requires emotional courage, especially in a world obsessed with image management. It takes courage to admit, I am struggling. I still feel insecure sometimes. I have not figured this out yet. I am evolving. I am not fully healed. But paradoxically, this honesty creates deeper confidence than performance ever could. Because now your identity is no longer fragile. You stop fearing exposure. You stop fearing imperfection. You stop fearing being found out. Why? Because you are no longer hiding from yourself. The most psychologically stable people are not those who have eliminated all flaws. They are people who can remain emotionally connected to themselves while imperfect. People who know they are unfinished but no longer see that as shameful. This is where authentic self-trust begins. Not at perfection, not at completion, not after you finally become some idealized future version of yourself, but right here, inside your evolving humanity, inside the unfinished edges, inside the uncertainty, inside the ongoing process of becoming. Beloved, you do not need to become a perfected human being before you are allowed to trust yourself. Your unfinishedness is not evidence that you are broken. It is evidence that you are alive, growing, adapting, and human. Stop abandoning yourself every time you fail to match an impossible image of perfection. Stop treating your evolving nature like a flaw that must be hidden. The deepest form of self-trust comes when you can sit honestly with who you are today without needing to perform completeness for the world. You are allowed to be a work in progress and still deserve your own loyalty.